The way I kind of see it is there's a couple options. One is obviously you speak to the TC and you get them to, mimic everything that's in the ISO and you put it in your follow-up loss. Okay. One option. Second option is they're not going to do that and it's on you. And then, yes, you should create a standard operating procedure for you that basically a part of each step is adjusting them in the follow-up loss boards, right? In those deal cards. The way our team operates is that, our transaction coordination team uses something similar to your ISO, but we don't use ISO. We use it's like open to close essentially. Like they use a transaction management company, like our software to kind of use everything. I use follow up boss to move all, and I move all my deal cards. Like I follow that constantly. So like I'm personally not doing much other than once something is updated in the deal cards, my team, like I'll have my transaction coordinators move it once there's an accepted contract. But if something is like we have deal stages that says 90 days or hot lead, right? Like all of our leads are in a deal stage, right? Like we have hot slash, call it hot, which is like basically within 30 days they're going to do something. Then we have a 90-day campaign and a 12-month campaign. Okay. So every lead is a deal card. Every single lead we have in our database. Okay. So you have 31 leads or whatever it was in the database, right? Whatever that is. Every single one of those should be a deal card. So now it's like I can see my entire database in one vision, one view. I can see my entire database. I have this many that are in 12-month campaigns. I have this many in my 90-day, this many in my 30-day or super hot leads, right? Like hot, warm, nurture. And then I go, once someone goes from a hot, warm, or nurture anywhere there, and then they go to some type of in negotiations, offers been made, contracted, whatever, right? Like listed for sale. I could just move the deal card, but every single lead is a deal card.
Got it. So instead of having stages, you probably also have stages.
Yep.
You do deal cards.
Correct.
So then you can visualize it better.
Correct.
Okay. How many deals do you have? I mean, how many all of those things are in your deal cards?
Just one group right now. I have 2,500 in 12-month campaign. I have 1,100 in 90-day.
So how do you stay organized within that?
Well, that's including my whole, that's one of, this is a team. This is one of the teams we work with, right? So it's like, 100 between these three active active and everything. We have like 165. But again, we have transaction managers who handle a lot of this type of stuff. Like I'm not personally involved in every little day-to-day thing, right?
Yeah, but I gotta be right now, right?
I know, but like again, so you get overwhelmed, but you don't have 165, you have two.
I know, dude. It kind of sucks.
No, I'm not saying it in a condescending way. I'm saying it in a sense where like you're not going to be overwhelmed until like it grows gradually. You don't go from 2 to
For
165.
sure.
You know what I
For
mean?
sure.
So like
Yeah.
before it even becomes quote challenging or frustrating or too much to handle, you'll have team and you'll probably be making a bunch of money, so you'll have team right to handle these things. You know what I mean? So like I'm not in charge of every single lead. Like I'm not the first person in charge, right? Like we have team members who each one of those leads belong to, right? I can just see the whole board across the thing,
Gotcha.
So like what I would tell you to do is that now look, obviously I can't speak for what you're choosing to do with your team and how that whole structure is set up. We can talk about it if you wanted to, but because your second question is about follow-up topics, like moving things from deal stage to deal stage. Our 12-month campaigns run for 10 years. Our 90-day campaigns last for 2 years. It's automated text messages, emails, and ringless voicemails, right? So, the way we operate is that like...
Do you have calls too in that?
Yeah, they get called. Like, so the way we do our calls is that in our 12-month campaigns, they get ripped through quarterly. So basically what we do is we have our VAs export the entire 12-month campaign, right? Which again has well over 200, total over 10 years, text messages, emails, ringless voicemails, whatever. And then every quarter we rip through it in through cold calling. We have a new member, like basically if that lead is responsible for them, they will just pull their 12-month campaign and once a quarter they'll rip through it.
Got it. Makes sense.
So instead of calling these people every 6 months and it's like a task, the problem is that when you have thousands and thousands and thousands of leads like that, you can't do it that way. Because then all of a sudden you're going to have one day we're going to have 89 tasks to do or 250 tasks to do, and you're going to become overwhelmed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean.
I mean, do you have follow-up campaigns that are built out already or no?
Yeah, but they're not very great.
Okay, so then you get to work on them.
Yeah.
So like it doesn't mean we shouldn't be using them. It just means that we should be tweaking them.
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a good one to work on now.
Here you go. So this is ChatGPT. Okay. Um, when you're starting it up, you're like, look, my partner and I are commercial real estate brokers. We were trying to create an automated follow process that is top notch, incorporating everything you can possibly think of. We have over 10,000 leads, emails, numbers, phone numbers, and addresses. Please create a multi-year campaign that will generate us endless closings. People reaching out to us to have them help them sell their properties. Now, what's going to happen is that like it's going to give us all these different things. I'll scroll down a little bit. And I'll constantly be tweaking it up here, right? And this was just me doing literally the same thing I'm doing with you, which is like literally just how I would go about it. Okay. And then I literally would just at the very end, and now I want 10 emails, SMS messages, and direct mail. Okay, great. Here's a full 90-day script bundle. Okay. Um, I'll repeat. Can you resend this PDF to me? And then basically what you'll do is you can just copy it and now I'd make edits to it and tweak it a little bit. But like again, you can come in here and just say like, hey, I am a commercial real estate agent and I am.
I got it. So when you're like, all right, so you're organizing this. When you're talking to a lead on the phone, converting them into whatever your next stage is, right? Like putting them in your follow-up boss. How are you determining what lead goes where? I guess hot will be in your 90-day, right?
So you have 30-day, which is super hot. Then we have 90-day, which is warm. And then we have 12 months, which is a nurture campaign.
So one of three.
It's only one of three buckets. That's it.
Okay. One of three buckets. And then you're sending that from Mojo directly to your
right to CRM, correct. So if I'm in Mojo, I make my calls, I get a lead, I type all my notes in Mojo, I then click one button that click, it's connected to Follow Up Boss. It goes right into my system. My VA will then pick it up because I'll take a note in there and I'll say, hey, like this is a 12-month campaign, 90-day or 30-day. It'll drop it in there, right? And so they'll find the lead that got imported today and make sure it's in the right campaign. And they create the now. I mean, like, look, this is me today. They create the deal cards. They like set that all up. And now we can move it, right? We have the ability to move it, but they create it all.
And then so then from there, how are you determining who to call and when? I know you have tasks, but just break it down for me. So you're not getting overwhelmed with.
So I value my hot leads, obviously infinitely higher than anything else. Our hottest leads are the most important things you should be calling immediately. So like I would rather that you spend 2 to 3 hours in the morning prospecting for new business because that can never stop, right? Like every day. You're going to generate 1 or 2 new leads. So like this is not talking about follow-up. So like our prospecting session happened in the morning. We generated some new business. Okay. Now that we're in our follow-up session, which is a time blocked 1 to 2 hour period of time where I'm handling all of my tasks, I would rather make sure that if I can only get to, let's say, a few tasks, I just want to complete my hot leads first. That's always priority. Because that way I know that if I mess up, let's say that something happens, my wife calls me and I got to jump and or something random happens, I at least got through my hottest leads. Right? Everything else is secondary. So I got my hot leads taken care of. I now they can go to my 90 days and then I can go with my 12 months. Because remember, like none of the 12-month campaign leads have tasks. There is 0 tasks for 12-month campaigns. I don't have to follow up with my 12-month campaigns. They're either going to be hit with my automations and then they'll reach out to me, or once a quarter, we'll rip through those cold call them. Because the 12-month campaign is basically somebody who basically said, I'm not interested in selling, but I do own property at 123 Main Street.
Dude, okay, so I got something similar, right? Like I got people calling. I have some callers that call for me from 5 to 7,
Great.
Which I'm hearing I should probably change. I should probably be the one calling a bunch. Essentially, they have 3 buckets too. They have like hot lead, and nurture. And anybody that gets a postcard, that's one of our questions that we ask because I'm doing all residential right now and I got to switch that up. It's just not really what I'm built for.
Sure.
It's good money now, but so then we'll send them a postcard, right? That's the first thing. But then like the follow-up for these guys is a bit more difficult for me to delegate, I guess, or actually do because one, they don't remember me. So could you help me maybe with that? What should I be saying to these guys that go, yeah, I don't want to sell. I'm not looking to sell anytime soon. Yeah, you can send me a postcard. That's fine. And that's our whole
conversation. So like a postcard's not going to mean much. But what I would tell you to do is that every single one of them, you should be putting in all, like, again, this is for commercial. I would not do this for residential. This is very different. Okay. But for commercial, I would be telling you to submit an offer to these people. Give them an offer of some sort.
But these guys are all residential.
I understand that. So what I'm trying to say to you, like, obviously that process doesn't work for residential. If you're talking residential and how to convert higher on these residential leads, like keep in mind that like there's only so much that you can do, right? You can send them comps of their market. You can send them all these just solds, just listeds, all this different stuff to keep them up to date of what's going on in their market. You can put them on MLS drip campaigns, like Easiest thing in the freaking world. I mean, like it takes 2 seconds to do that,
Can I
right?
ask you this? What in your 90-day, in your 12-month follow-up?
I'm just saying, like everything I'm telling you though is for commercial. Like I'm not doing that for residential.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand. Yeah, yeah, yeah. For your 12-month follow-up, when you're ripping through those guys again, what is like your reentry? Are you just calling this cold again? Like you call me, I
Yes.
got property.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I tell my agents basically what happens is either if you recognize the number, you can do just a traditional follow-up. And 99 times out of 100, you're not going to recognize phone numbers or remember people. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. But most of the time, the quarterly follow-up is cold calling.
Yeah.
We're newly prospecting these people to see if anything's changed.
Got it.
That's all.
Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And like think about it. Like again, like the 12-month campaigns, we're only doing as a cold call every quarter, right? So there's no tasks there. You only basically are handling 2 levels of tasks, which is your 30-day campaigns and your 90-day campaigns. That's it. Because on the 90 days, it has a number of times to touch base with them. But like keep in mind that like right now in your database, how many people do you have in your database?
Maybe 1,000, 2,000, something like that.
Okay, cool. 1,000 and 2,000. Great. Every single one of them, I'm guaranteeing you that probably 90+% of them are probably 12-month campaigns. 98%. Okay.
Yes.
Now, of the remaining 10%, I'd say 1% of them are hot leads, and the remaining 9% are probably 90 days.
Yeah, or their sphere. Yeah, exactly. I mean, same shit though. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
So it's like, and again, you could have a bucket for sphere if you want to, just so you know that you're not fucking cold calling these people, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But like that's it. And all you're doing is you're focused on the 1% of those people, which let's say it's 2,000 leads. 1% is 20 people. You have 20 people in your hottest leads. Those people are going to convert and do something in the next 30 days. Then you have your next bucket, which is going to be, let's just say 10%, which is 300 or 200 people of 2,000. They're going to do something in the next 90-ish days, maybe 6 months. They're going to do something this year. So you should be in touch with these people all the freaking time, sending them text messages, sending them newsletters, sending them emails, sending them ringless voicemails. You should be in touch with these people constantly trying to set an appointment of some sort, obviously for residential, and for commercial, you should be putting an offer in front of them.
And that's your hot, right? Or your 90, are you talking
My
about?
90.
Yeah,
90.
yeah.
And then our hottest leads, of course, we're going to give them offers. We give every single lead that you generate, we're giving them an offer. It's the first thing that happens 24 to 72 hours later. Okay? First thing that we do. We generate a lead. Within 24 to 72 hours, they have an offer from us. And sometimes it's 2 or 3.